Hi, my name is Matt Kimball, and I'm interviewing for the Earth Science position at the Rockford Freshman Center. I'm very much looking forward to teaching for Rockford and becoming a full community member. We just moved back into the area after spending 9 years out in Utah, and after a long 10 years in undergrad at Cornerstone, juggling work and classes, and I was in the Marine Reserves. I was pole vaulting for them. Finally graduated. We got married, and then me and my wife decided to go out west to start an adventure. During that time, I taught 4 years in the middle school, 7th grade integrated science and 8th grade earth science. And I was coaching at the same time, but I really wanted to coach and teach the same students. So I got into a high school where I teach physics and astronomy. And so for the last 5 years, I've been doing that. We've absolutely loved it in Utah and fully intended to retire there. But it became apparent with 4 young boys and no family out there that we needed to come back home. And so we recently did that move, and it's been an exciting adventure. My time in middle school taught me the value of collaborating with fellow teachers and working on things collectively as a group to get a lot of traction on an idea and really test it and push it forward. We spent a lot of time with standards-based grading, with mastery curriculum, common formative assessments. We went back and forth with different retake policies, really trying to get the student to have a good opportunity to show what they've learned, but then also to try and hold them accountable to timeliness. And so it's kind of a delicate balance that we try to work on, and we spent a lot of time with this. During this time, I had an opportunity to work with the Masters of Science or Secondary Science Teachers cohort. The University of Utah put on a master's degree, so I earned my master's degree in earth science teaching. And while the curriculum and the coursework was very beneficial to me, and it really helped open my eyes to the world of geology and how it fit into all the different disciplines, the best part about the whole thing was going through it with 20 like-minded science teachers who were all working for the same goal. And we got to talk about once a week about how we're going to implement this into our classrooms and how our ideas have been shifting through these university courses. The last 5 years I've been teaching in the high school. And I got to dig into the curriculum more than when I was in the middle school. The middle school is very much classroom management, very pedagogically based, really good teaching practices. And then when we got to the high school, it was all about the content and well-developed lesson plans and data collection and more rigor on the math side of the house. And I got to implement some of my ideas from the middle school, good teaching practices, with some of the well-developed lesson plans that we had at the high school. And so it was a great melding for me, and I think it was very helpful for me to see both sides of the house, both the middle school and the high school. And so I think I grew a lot during that time period. I plan to continue to collaborate with my colleagues, with parents, with students. I don't think education is a one-way street anymore. I think you have to reach out and ask for feedback, and then bounce that off your colleagues and try to come up with a good blending of what you want to do, what the state wants you to do, and then also what the parents and the students are looking for. And so I've always found that respectful communication and some patience goes a long way, and I intend to continue to develop these relationships with the whole community, teachers, students, parents. This last year I've been teaching both online and face-to-face. And so we had to innovate. We had to fail forward, if you will. Took a lot of risks. We lost a significant amount of instructional time, and so my solution to this was to try and flip my classroom. And so my website has some examples about how I try to do this. You can find them all on YouTube. But the idea was that students would watch their videos at home, and then if they could come to class, then they would come to class and we would enhance it with hands-on data collection labs as we typically would in a normal classroom. And if you couldn't come to class, I was able to convert a lot of the labs that we did in class to online work. So things like rolling a ball down a ramp and finding out how far it goes, it was very easy to do at home, as long as I had a ruler or a tape measure of some kind. Some of the other ones we were looking at impact force. You needed a Vernier LabQuest, a very specialized data collection device. They weren't able to do that, but there were some online versions that would give them a close approximation. So my goal this past year was to have a seamless class, whether you were in my classroom or you were stuck at home, quarantined or sick. I wanted the class to feel normal, and I had to innovate in a few different ways, mainly the flipped classroom, going online. We use an online management system called Canvas, and it was a little bit risky because you always worry about those students that aren't going to do well just reading and listening. You know, they're not interacting, and those students are of particular concern. And you know, the methods that I tried this past year succeeded in a lot of areas, but then there were a few areas where that personal connection just wasn't able to be met, and it was a kind of unfortunate year for a lot of students. But I learned quite a bit on the digital side of the house, and making things accessible to all students, and then trying to use class time more appropriately, cutting out the things that either weren't necessary or weren't fun or weren't meaningful, and really focus on the essentials. And that was very important for us. I've really enjoyed teaching both middle school and high school. I prefer high school. And I'm very excited about the prospect of the freshman center here. It seems like it's a little bit of a middle ground. And Earth Systems, I've always wanted to teach. I'm very excited. My master's degree is in Earth Systems. It's very diverse. There's a lot of aspects. You can hit the wave tops and do it conceptually, or you can dig down deep and you can look at P waves and travel times, and you can get into some of the math as well. And so I think I'm a good fit for this position, and I'm really excited to be able to teach in the same community that I live in, where my children will be going to school. Well, thank you again for the opportunity. I'd encourage you to check out my website for more details, and I hope to hear from you soon. Thank you.